All right, what up, guys? First time going live, but I had a really quick news announcement I wanted to share with you guys while everything is still kind of new, fresh, and still happening. My name is Adrian from Motorcycle.com. Today we learned that after some speculation, the Norton Motorcycle Company has been sold and it is now under Indian ownership. It was purchased by TVS Motors from out of India. They are India's third largest motorcycle manufacturer. That's what we're going to be talking about in today's video. First time doing it live, hopefully it works. If you're one of my current audience people, if you're one of the 14,000 people who saw my last video on Norton Motorcycles, first of all, thank you so much. It was really cool seeing all the popularity of that video. That was awesome. But if you haven't seen that video, you should probably check that out first, because some things you can start in the middle, like Star Wars, and then kind of go backwards. But I think for the news, it's always better if you know what's currently already happened, and then you can kind of figure out what's happening next as it goes along. Kind of just helps the story. But basically, my last video about Norton, I talked about con artists, swindled pensioners, ripped off motorcyclists who put down money on deposits or even paid in full for motorcycles that they just never received. Why Norton thought it was a good idea to buy 12 Aston Martins, but they didn't actually have the money to pay their parts suppliers to get the parts that they needed to make the motorcycles that they had already sold but hadn't even made yet. There was a lot of really crazy stuff going on, so that's why I think if you watch my previous video on Norton Motorcycles, it'll kind of help you understand. Anyway, you should check that out if you haven't already. But since that last video, what's happened is over 331 parties, according to a United Kingdom government report, 331 parties expressed expressed interest. I'm nervous, it's my first time going live. Expressed interest in purchasing the Norton Motorcycle Company. And of those 331, only about 169 actually filled out the necessary paperwork, the necessary non-disclosure agreements to kind of move forward. And of that 169, only 29 parties actually made formal offers to purchase the Norton Motorcycle Company. So Norton basically found themselves briefly in this period where they were in a gray zone, where it was a very realistic possibility that they could actually cease to exist altogether. And what I mean by that is, if none of the offers to purchase Norton were accepted, the whole company would be dissolved, and basically the assets, whatever assets the company had, would be sold off individually. Basically the whole company would have been liquidated. However, obviously, as you can tell from the title and from my intro, one company, TVS Motors out of India, their offer was accepted, and they are the new 100% current owners of Norton. Let me check my notes here. So there's a couple issues that I saw kind of leading into Norton being available to the highest bidder, or however it was decided. One was, we have to talk about all of the people who were ripped off by Norton when Stuart Garner owned it. And what I mean by that is pensioners who lost their pensions, motorcyclists who, like I said, put down money and never got bikes. Those people are the Norton brand loyalists, and they're not going to be feeling really loyal right now. And we'll get into them a bit more later. There was also things I mentioned in my video about how Stuart Garner had, he sold certain rights and plans to Norton's engines to a Chinese company. And so the question was, well, if there were future Nortons, what would their engines, what would their motors look like? Would they still use the same things that they had sold to the Chinese? Could they even still be allowed to do that? Would they have to come up with some brand new? And just what's Norton's brand really worth after Stuart Garner just took that Norton logo and just rubbed it through the mud and just squeezed all of the cash he could out of it? Was there any value left to the brand? Would people even still care? And maybe you don't care. Let me know in the comments. Be like, I couldn't care less that Norton is going to be Indian owned, or maybe it could. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. I got a bunch of questions for you. I've kind of asked them along the way. And if you're liking this, please hit that like button. It'll help more people see it. So let's move right along. What do we know about TVS Motors? Well, like I said, they're India's third largest motorcycle manufacturer, and they'll be taking full control of the 122-year-old Norton Motorcycle Company. From the early reports that I've read, I'm going to pull out my little notes here because I got some quotes for you coming up. What was interesting about this is TVS has included in their offer zero responsibility for any of Norton's past. So what that means is, unfortunately, they are making no promises. If you put money in and pay in full for Norton, well, now they're going to be producing them again, hopefully, but that doesn't mean that you're going to get one. They are making no promises. In the past, in the motorcycle industry, we've seen companies, I think it was Scully, the helmet maker, and they had cameras built into the helmets. They went under. People put down a lot of money on Kickstarter or whatever crowdsourcing it was, and the company went under, and a lot of people lost their money. But when a new company bought Scully, they said, don't worry, the very first new helmets we produce, you guys are getting them first. TVS is saying nothing like that. In fact, TVS might almost be taking the opposite stance and saying right from the get-go, hey, anybody who got screwed in the past, which obviously it sucks, and I wouldn't want that for you guys. I'm not flipping you off, but you know what I mean. TVS is taking no responsibility for that. Now, I'm not trying to cast him as a bad guy, because this is just the very first day. This only happened hours ago. So what's on here, maybe by the time you're watching this could already be outdated, so let's just keep on flying through it. I was trying to find some quotes on here. I did find one quote, which I'll read to you guys, but I just want to point out, this isn't the first time that Norton's been foreign owned. For a while, Norton was owned by a Canadian. For a while, Norton was owned by Americans. So Norton's been getting around. Lately, of course, it was back in the UK. But this is not the first time. So this is not a first for British motorcycling. Norton's been kind of getting around, unfortunately, in the last few years, and it's been a bit of a bum ride, to be honest. But here's a quote that I found from, I'm going to butcher this name, Sudarshan Venu. I'm sorry, buddy. I totally probably said that completely wrong. He's the joint managing director of TVS Motor Company, and he said, this is a momentous time for us at TVS Motor Company. Norton is an iconic British brand celebrated across the world. Well, maybe they were celebrated a little bit more before than now. But hey, and presents us with an immense opportunity to scale globally. This transaction is in line with our effort to cater to the aspirations of discerning motorcycle customers. So I like that they mentioned discerning motorcycle customers. To me, that means they're going to still try and keep it premium brand, hopefully not cheap it down. I mean, the reality is TVS, they do a lot of motorcycles in like the 100cc class. These are not your premium motorcycles. They do big volumes. We'll talk about that later. But anyway, it's nice that they're calling out discerning motorcycle customers, because Norton, I think we can all agree, whether you like this or not, Norton should stay. If it does stick around, Norton should stay a premium motorcycle brand. Anyway, let's continue with this quote. We will extend our full support for Norton to regain its full glory in the international motorcycle landscape. Norton will continue to retain its distinctive identity with dedicated and specific business models. TVS Motors will work closely with customers and employees in building the success and preeminence of the Norton Motorcycles brand, and we look forward to growing together globally in the years to come, blah, 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 blah. So all that stuff, obviously, is just a bunch of boardroom eloquence. It's meant to be a lot of words. It doesn't actually say anything specific and makes zero commitment. So textbook corporate world right there. It's a lot of boring corporate speak, and so I'm going to give you guys my own take on all of this with specific real numbers, so that you actually have something tangible and not just this BS that TVS put out. So here's, based on my own kind of research, numbers I got for you. TVS company has an annual revenue of the equivalent of $2.8 billion US. So these guys are capable of selling and producing 3 to 4 million units, 3 to 4 million motorcycles per year. Granted, finished quality of their bikes might not be the same as what you would come to expect from Norton, but the fact is these guys can pump out massive volume. They're also the second largest exporter in India. They export vehicles to over 60 different countries all around the world. Damn. So TVS knows how to do a lot of things that the Norton Motorcycle Company couldn't quite figure out. They know how to put motorcycles into production. They know how to produce huge quantities of motorcycles, and they know how to distribute bikes all over the place. Granted, there are a few things that Norton knew that TVS hasn't really done yet, like building a brand based around a super premium, super premium, formerly respected product or a brand, being Norton. Having that kind of recognition, knowing how to play off of the heritage. This is stuff that TVS hasn't done. TVS hadn't really set their flag down in the Western world quite the way Norton is cemented in the Western world. So it's going to be really interesting seeing this sort of meeting of minds between the two organizations, or whoever's left at the two organizations. But I think the biggest difference maker here when we talk about TVS and Norton coming together is really that TVS, they have huge pockets. They have deep reserves of cash. They can pump in as much or as little as they want into Norton to make this as successful or just a pet project. And they could do this to turn around Norton's history for the better, or this is just going to be a start of a lot of people saying this is a terrible, terrible migraine of a day for British motorcycling. Which one's it going to be? Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Are you guys excited that Norton is being bought? Like, is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? Is it a good thing because we're going to see, more British bikes being produced? Or do they even count as British bikes in your opinion if it's got a Norton badge but it's made somewhere else or owned by a company somewhere else? Obviously, we're seeing this a lot in motorcycles. I mean, Ducati's not Italian anymore. Pirelli's not Italian anymore. A lot of these companies are getting bought up by foreign money. Whether you like that or not, hey, that's a whole other topic. I'm really curious to see whether or not TVS will actually invest heavily into Norton, or if this is just going to be something that they kind of fiddle with, because you look at Norton's numbers, they were producing, motorcycles in the hundreds versus TVS is producing in the millions. Maybe Norton is just so redundant to their overall business, they just don't care. I don't know. Will these bikes being produced be better or worse? Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Are you excited about this? How do you feel about this new company coming in and not saying from right out the gate, we're going to make reparations, because we know that Norton's done some shady stuff in the past? TVS isn't acknowledging that. I mean, do you think that TVS is going to turn around and before they launch, they're going to do that? If you are, here's my big question for you guys. If you're a Norton fan, if you're a fan of British motorcycling, anywhere in the world, I don't care where you're from, let me know in the comments. Do you think this is a good thing? And do you think this is a good day for British motorcycling? Do you think it's a good day for Norton Motorcycles, or do you think it's a sad day? Let me know in the comments what you guys think. I would love to hear from you guys more. I got a ton of comments on my last video, which you guys should definitely check out. And I tried to reply to every single comment on there. It was really cool hearing from all you guys. But if you like this video, please hit that like button. If you want to see more, please hit subscribe. If there's any kind of other crazy updates coming out soon on Norton Motorcycles, I will share it with you guys. And that's it. Bye for now. Ride safe. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.